Hello, everyone. This is Jim Hirsch here from High Output. Uh, we're having High Output Academy today to discuss Shure Axient Digital and how they are moving into the broadcast market. We're here with Jason, Ben, and Nicholas from Shure, and I'm just really doing an introduction. I'll say a couple words about Axient. As many of you know, High Output is a company that does a lot of live events. At least we used to do a lot of live events and will be again. Those have turned into virtual events, and we've turned into a company doing a lot more of television production. So beforehand, of course, everyone knows this is a lighting company with studios, and we're always involved in TV, but now we're more involved in the capture end of that, camera and audio. And for those purposes, we use Axient wireless as really our only microphone, unless we're using a few wired, but with we have excellent results, especially the capsules of, I won't go off with all the names, but we get fantastic audio quality both in our studios and on location. So we've been really happy with the product. We have it racked in fairly traditional ways, but there's some new products that are moving this into a place where people on location will be able to use Axient Digital in a small configurations and quite portable. So I'll hand it over to Ben, I think, who's going to start with a little bit of a slideshow here, PowerPoint. Take it away, Ben.
Thanks, Jim. We're very, very pleased and excited to be here at the High Output Academy today. We're going to cover the latest additions to the Axient Digital portfolio, including the new plug-on transmitter, the AD3, which is released today. And there'll be some other cool small transmitters and other features we'll cover as well in this session. As mentioned, if you have any questions that pop up about this product or anything else Shure related, please put it in the chat and we'll try to address those before the end of this session. Without further ado, we're going to turn it over to our media team. We have a short presentation video of the AD3, which will kick us off. So let's hit that. And we're back. So the AD3 little short video there, a little teaser of what we're going to talk about today. In order to understand AD3, we're going to kind of visit the Shure Axient Digital portfolio as well. So Axient Digital, as Jim was saying, is really blown up in all kinds of areas wherever wireless is needed. We've been seeing quite a large growth, not only just on the broadcast, studio broadcast, but remote broadcast, especially this live streaming thing that everybody's doing these days. In addition, we've been seeing quite a bit of it in location production for like episodic and film and TV, where Axient Digital has become the go-to product for that. And then this AD3 plug-on transmitter fits right in that realm. So let's take a quick look at Axient Digital portfolio if you're not that familiar with it. Just a recap, we have a 2 and a 4 channel receiver. We have two series of transmitters. One is the AD series, and the other one is ADX. The main difference between them is the ADX has the advanced feature set, including our show link remote control. That allows you to do things that you couldn't do normally, like change any of the settings remotely over the access point or the show link access point. And it also unlocks some really cool features like interference detection and avoidance, or also known as changing frequencies on the fly and that sort of stuff. So with that, the Axient Digital does have a DC powering option, and this DC powering option is available on both the dual and the quad receiver. It was mainly designed from the get-go for those large facilities that have dual power supply rails for redundancy. The idea is that if it's on AC and then the AC power gets cut for whatever reason, it will automatically fall into the DC and not miss a beat whatsoever. What our users, and especially those out in the field doing location recording, have found is that they were using the DC powering option solely because they're running on a DC powered 12-volt kind of audio system or cart anyway. And this has really taken off with episodic and location and movies and all that kind of thing, where you have a 12-volt cart there and you want the best quality digital wireless. Well, why not? Let's use the Axient Digital with the DC powering option. So that's been quite popular and really kind of cool for all of us to see. We make the product, and what the users do with it is always awesome. It's things beyond what we thought the product could do, or that kind of audience, and it's just amazing. It's a tool, right? And it's really amazes me how you make that tool and create awesome content. Speaking of which, here's a couple sound cards here that we have from users of Axient Digital on set. Your typical 12-volt powered cart. When you have AC available, that's great. But if you don't, it has an internal 12-volt battery system, which powers the majority of everything on the cart. And you can see many, many channels of Axient Digital. They're all lit up and working. And the remote control is astounding, as well as just the control from Workbench, wireless Workbench program, and the sound quality, ease of use. So without further ado, we'll jump right into it. The 83, which is released today and shipping today. So if you're interested in getting your hands on it, we do have them, and place your order. 83 plug-on transmitter. I think most everybody on the session knows what a plug-on transmitter is, but in case you don't, the 83 or any plug-on transmitter will take an audio source and convert it into a wireless transmission. So basically, it's very similar to like a body pack 81, but with an XLR connector on it. And just one more piece of the puzzle that kind of makes the Axient Digital ecosystem even more user-friendly and capable of doing all kinds of cool stuff. You can plug a microphone on the end of this, or you can plug any audio source you want, including line level or mic level signals, and transmit them over the Axient Digital link. A couple of the new features about it that we're excited is that we have a brand new locking connection to the microphone, and we'll cruise through this a little bit more in the virtual hands-on, but the locking mechanism is very important. Obviously, you don't want the microphone transmitter to drop off during a shoot or during use. It has to be secure, but more importantly, it has to not tear up your microphone as well. I mean, there's been some reports of other types of locking systems for plug-on transmitters that do cause wear and tear on your expensive shotguns and Colette series microphones. This one stays put and doesn't chew up your mic, which is great. A lot of other things are very similar to what the 81 or the Axient Digital portfolio has, including AES 256-bit encryption, 3 selectable output power modes, 2 different channel density operating modes, and all the other things that come along with the Axient Digital ecosystem. So it's kind of like we were talking about before, an 81 body pack, but with additional features that are really useful when we're talking about broadcast or location sound recording. When people think about, what is a plug-on transmitter used for? I mean, there's a ton of different, applications, but one that comes to mind, first and foremost, would probably be on the end of a boom pole with a shotgun microphone. We can also see them used as ambient microphones, just, planted on a stage somewhere, or plant microphone. We also see them used quite a bit with videographers. Maybe a wedding videographer wants to get the audio feed from the DJ console onto the recording. They'll just give a plug-on transmitter to the DJ and send that audio so that they can sync it with their video for the father-daughter dance and all that stuff later on. That's really neat. We do see that the unit itself can be powered with AA's, which is great if you don't have access to any power or you're out in the wild or whatever. AA's are ubiquitous and you can get them anywhere, which is great. If you want to, you can use the optional SB900A rechargeable battery. One other cool thing about the system is that it will charge the battery via the USB-C port right in the back here. So you have a bunch of different ways you can charge this battery, like single, dual, quad, 8 bangers, all that to charge this one. But if you want it the simplest, you just plug it in and it will start charging that battery. Inside the box, you will get the 2 AA batteries, the USB A to C cable, and a zippered bag for storage, along with the cloth leatherette pouch. So here it is. 81 XLR connector, that new lock and collar patent pending I was talking about. It does have phantom power, so there are 2 settings. It's either 3 settings: off, or 12-volt phantom, or 48-volt phantom. So depending on the what your mic needs, usually 12 and 48 will do the trick. It also has a high pass filter, which is new in the Axient Digital line. I think it's important for a product like this to have it because a lot of the receiving end of the recording may not have that capability to roll off. So this has it right at the microphone itself, which is nice. And we talked about the external power and charging option. Like if you like to, you don't have to even have a battery in the unit. You can power it indefinitely right from the USB. This is useful for maybe you're doing a convention and there's a podium or a lectern that has to be wireless, but you have power. You could do so just by making sure that it does have power. Or you can get creative. If there's no power on scene, you could use a big phone charger type USB power bank and use that to power the system for a long time. So it does open up a lot of options, especially for videography and broadcast and field recording issues. And we already talked about this, but in the box, you get all the stuff here. The rechargeable battery is optional, but I would recommend it. Just one less thing to worry about. You always have it, and you can have spares ready to go. Another cool thing about going rechargeable instead of alkaline is it gives you very detailed information about how much runtime you have left, and it'll give it to you in hours and minutes. And we'll look at that during the virtual hands-on. So like we were talking about, you have the 2 AA batteries, you have the SB900, and if you're not using the AA batteries, there's a little shim or an adapter, and there's storage for that inside, and we'll look at that during the virtual hands-on. Because the SB900 is a little bit larger than 2 AA batteries because it's a lithium cell, the AA batteries need that shim inside to keep them nice and tight so you don't rattle around and they break their power connection, of course. But both of them are capable right out of the box, either or. And there's the up close and personal, the USB-C port under the flap. USB-C is nice because you don't have to worry about which direction you plug it in. You plug it in one way and it's not the right way, and you keep flipping around with like micro or whatnot. USB-C is becoming the new standard, and I'm happy to see it on here. Currently, it only does the power option. It's not data or anything at this time, but it will power the unit and it will charge that SB900 battery if you have one installed. There's no danger of charging the AA batteries that are not rechargeable because there's a smart chip and circuitry inside to prevent that from happening. So it has to know that there's an SB900 in there in order for it to charge. And the frequency bands, we have 3 main frequency bands for Axient Digital in the United States. The G57 is the most popular because it is the widest of all of them and covers pretty much everything that's left after the latest FCC incentive auction, if you've been following around with that. So G57 does go to 470 to 616 megahertz with a hole for the radio astronomy band. We also have the K54 band, which does the 600 megahertz. I know what you're thinking. You're like, 600 is gone. Why do I need that? Well, there's still that duplex gap in the guard band, the little slices of spectrum in the 600 that may be usable. Some unlicensed use can be used for part of that, but if you are Part 74 licensed from the FCC, you can take advantage of almost all of that spectrum in between the uplink and the downlink of the mid 600s, affectionately known as the duplex gap and the guard band. And then, of course, another topic, the STL band, or the 900 megahertz, has been more common of late because it is, again, exclusive for Part 74 license holders. However, it is kind of an unused chunk of spectrum that not everybody has access to. So it is desirable in crowded RF environments. 941 through 960 is a little like almost under 20 megahertz, but keep in mind you can put a lot of frequencies of wireless microphones channel count with Axient Digital just based on the technology. So that 20 megahertz can get you quite a large number of frequencies if you need be. But for most part, it's going to be G57, one range to rule them all. The other ones are there and available. And if you are a world traveler or doing documentaries elsewhere, that kind of thing, we have other frequency ranges for other parts of the globe, no problem. Another product in the portfolio that we love to mention because it's a nice tie-in is the VPH, or what we call the video production handheld. And this is kind of a cool little tool in your arsenal that will help you use the Shure capsules you already have for your Shure wireless and make them wired. We joke around calling it make wireless wired again, and that's basically what we're doing. So you have a wireless capsule like a 58 or KSM8 or whatever you have on your wireless stick. You could screw it onto this VPH and basically it converts it to a wired mic with an XLR on the bottom. Pretty neat. It's a useful thing to have as a backup. It's also nice because it gives you a little extra length of the microphone versus, say, a standard mic. Here's a 58 for comparison. You can see it's almost double the length, I'd estimate. So it gives you a little extra reach, especially these days. We're trying to keep our social distancing in check. And also, it allows you to, have a backup, maybe. You have the capsules in your bag, and for whatever reason you can't use your wireless. Well, you can use a wire. It also is cool because you can use any of the accessories that screw in between the capsule and the stick. Our RPW series capsules are pretty common, of course, and there's, of course, third-party ones as well. But you can use things like the UAMS universal mute switch, as well as the mic flag extender kit, and all those accessories can just screw together like Legos in between the capsule, and you can make this as long or short as you want for station identifiers, flags, that kind of stuff. So it's a kind of a match made in heaven, if you will, because this guy here is now a wired mic, but you can make it wireless with the 83 again and get that extra length that you need, no problem, for those applications. So with that, we're going to pivot over and kind of do a virtual hands-on, and I'll show you the product actual up and close and personal and a couple things about it. So we'll switch over here to camera B, and I have the mic in my hand here, the 83 in my hand. So as what you see is what you get, very robust metal housing, very durable. I will pop this out of the leatherette case so you can kind of see up close and personal what we're talking about here. The 83 itself has that locking connector, which I wanted to show you in more detail. So if you take a look here, you got the unlock setting and the lock setting, and how it works is pretty simple. I have the 58 here, and I'll plug it in. As soon as you plug it in, it makes a satisfying click, and it won't undo itself right away. To get even more security, you can lock it by screwing it over to the lock, and now it's really in there and it won't come out. To undo this and to release it, not only do you have to unlock it, but you have to pull down on this collar. I can use 2 fingers or your finger and thumb and pull it down, and then it'll pop up. And this is very important, of course. If you have a plug-on transmitter on the end of a microphone, the last thing you want it to do is to fall off during your recording or presentation or whatnot. So that's a new locking mechanism, unlike any other on the market, patent pending, of course. Another thing to showcase while I have a mic here is that there's a level indicator, and it's a little LED right here where my finger is. If I tap on the mic, you can see it light up. And of course, if you have a signal coming through, it'll light up green. And if you have too hot of a signal, it'll light up yellow or red subsequently. So it gives you a nice visual indication of, am I getting audio through this, whether it's a mic or an XLR cable or the back of a mixer. It also lets you know if that audio is being treated appropriately and not overloading the unit. So I'll pop this back off. Going through the back end of it, we have the Shure rubberized cover. I can pop open this cover and you see the USB-C connector there. And that allows you to, of course, power or charge that SB900. Let's move over to the battery compartment. The battery compartment is pretty cool. It's like a sports car. You can pop this open and it just cantilevers out, kind of cams out, and all metal design. Room for those 2 AA batteries or the SB900A, which I have in here now. And as we looked at earlier, you have the AA shim storage here for the adapter, so if you don't lose it. Moving along to the menu portion, I'm not gonna go through all the menus, but I'm gonna show you a couple things that are unique to this product versus like say an 81 body pack. Notice that, you know, the main operating screen here is quite easy to read. And because I am using a SB900, I'm getting actual runtime here, 3 hours and 48 minutes apparently left to go on this battery before it's totally done. I do have a USB-C cable here that comes with it, just connected into my computer on the other end. And if I plug this into the back end of the Shure 83, it'll start charging it, and it'll also let me know that EXT, that external power, is connected on the bottom left of the display. Again, you can use this to power it indefinitely or even without a battery, that sort of thing. Kind of nice, nice workflow there. And then the other things I want to touch base on, inside of the menu here in the audio menu specifically, there are a few new options. One is the phantom power option. As we discussed earlier, you can turn it from off to 12 volt to 48 volt, which is great. And that covers pretty much all the mics that require phantom and the different flavors. And then there's also a pad. So this is a hardware pad that can be enabled. You can either have two settings, either it's off or you can knock it down by 12 dB. If you have a really hot line level signal and into this and it's overloading it, you see that red light lighting up, you can put the pad in here to help you manage that signal more effectively. Additionally, we have the HP filter, which is a new, we talked about on the presentation. This is very useful and adjustable. It doesn't just give you like, you know, one setting or two settings. It's actual 20 dB increments from 40 all the way to 240 hertz. And that'll help tame any low end rumbles and undesirable noises that you may have there. So all in all, a very robust unit, metal, feels solid in the hand, Axient Digital compatible, really kind of rounds out the portfolio that we're used to. And we're really excited to have it. It's pretty cool. At this point, I'm going to pivot over and ask Jen to show us what's going on with the brand new transmitter lines we have for Axient Digital and some other cool products. So.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. And thank you, Ben, for the AD3 overview. So we're super excited about having that in the line. And we're going to follow this up with a few other additional transmitters that work in the Axient Digital family. So this is a little bit different. This is actually a partnership that with a company called Quantum, and these are the Q5X products. And those of you who have never seen Quantum before, Quantum's been around for a while. They've been making some really great niche market products for broadcast. So things like, so you've seen them in the NBA, you've seen them in golf, you've seen them at Radio City Music Hall, in tap shoes. Like, they do all kinds of super cool things. And previously their product was analog. And so you could use their analog transmitters with like UHFR or Axient analog. Well, now it's the digital age. So, so we worked with them and have a Axient Digital chip that is now available in their products. So you would use Quantum transmitters, the Q5X transmitters, with Axient Digital receivers. So here are the things that we want to talk about. Three main things: the player mic, which is what you'll see like if you're watching an NBA game and you're listening to those players, the Aqua mic, and then the mic commander. So the first thing we're going to talk about is that player mic. So the player mic is a very flexible, soft transmitter. So let me grab that. So that's this guy. Oh, thank you. Ben is showing that as well. So it's nice and small. It's soft and bendable. And it's using the full Axient Digital RF scheme, which means you can have it encrypted as well with that AES 256-bit encryption. It has an internal battery from a charging standpoint. And then there's 3 selectable power levels: a 2 milliwatts, a 10 milliwatts, and a 20 milliwatts. Now, if you have worked with Axient Digital, you know we have that ShowLink remote control capability. The Q5X mics do not have ShowLink. However, they do have their own remote control, which is what that mic commander is for. So Thank you, Ben. So that's a AA battery that Ben is showing next to the player mic and our Axient Digital ADX1 micro pack. So you can see how the size is. All right, so Aquamic. The Aquamic is a fully waterproof microphone. It's submersible up to 10 meters. Again, it's Axient Digital Wireless. So works with our receivers. You can use it encrypted. You get that 130 dB dynamic range. It has an internal battery for charging, just the same as the player mic does. And it has a removable belt clip as well. So, and then same thing. If you were trying to program that transmitter, that's where that mic commander comes in. So you can actually do that via IR sync. But you know, once it's on the talent, mic commander time. And then last but not least, and this is a connectivity to the Quantum mics, we have our Twinplex lavalier line. There's also a headset. So Twinplex came out, it's I guess a couple years old now. What's really cool about it, this is a brand new diaphragm that we've made. So it's a dual diaphragm single element cartridge side firing, which means it does two things. One, because of the two diaphragms, you've doubled the surface area in a small package. So it sounds like a much larger lavalier than its size would indicate. Additionally, because it's two side firing, if you worry about kind of hitting that mic and getting a little off access inconsistency, it performs much better in those environments as well. And then it has this really great cable. I think the cable was in development for something in the neighborhood of like 7 or 8 years. This is an exclusive cable to us. If you can see the zoomed in pictures, it's a double spiral cable, and like literally you actually have to break that cable more than once in the same place for it to fail. So it handles flex and will live a lot longer, because you know, where's your lavalier failure is going to be? It's likely going to come out of the cable, right? It's also very paintable. So those of you who are working in like motion picture and you really got to hide those microphones in, you can paint them, and it has zero memory effect. So very workable from an A2 standpoint. Now, accessory wise, you can get it without accessories, but you can also get it with accessories. You can see some of those here. You notice that there's two caps there. There's a flat cap and there's a presence cap. The presence cap is if you like a little bit more of the high-end crispness. Comes with some wind screens, tie clips, vamp clips. And then especially for location, and those of you trying to hide mics, we're super excited about this guy. There's this little silicone sleeve, and you can actually take that Twinplex lav and fully enclose it. So it's actually protected. You can hide this under clothes. You'll put a sticky on the back end and place it underneath clothes for the talent. And you can see it's got a hole in the front as well as the top, so it does not affect the sound quality when you're using that in that fashion. So really nice option for those of you who are trying to hide those microphones. And so that's it as far as all the new things that we wanted to talk about. I'm going to bring Ben and Jason back. I don't know if Jim's going to join us as well. So please, we're looking at the chat. There actually haven't been any questions in the chat thus far. So throw them in there. We're looking for them. So we're happy to inform.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't really have much. That was very thorough. And I like the idea of the new capsules. I wasn't really up on that because we do have a lot of different capsules for our microphones, for our transmitters, and we change them for different, obviously, different applications. I know you mentioned that not all these things are ShowLink, and some things will be in the future. I'm not sure everyone who's on this call really is aware of ShowLink. I can say that the redundancy that ShowLink gives us is quite a peace of mind, because everyone who's ever run wireless has had hits. And ShowLink, we've tested it by trying to trip it up, and as soon as it detects any kind of RF fault, it transmits information to the transmitter and reset, changes its frequency. And if you can notice it, it's so subtle that maybe on a detailed recording it would be an issue, but certainly on a live, anything we do live, no one would know that ShoreLink has acted. So I think it's really a breakthrough. That's really all I have. It was very complete, so I'm probably why it didn't generate a lot of questions.
That's all right. Thanks, Jim. A couple things. It is released and announced today. So today is the first day, and you can place your orders now. Keep in mind that if you're interested in the product, you might want to get it in sooner than later because there's quite a bit of demand and excitement over it, and we're excited about it ourselves. I did see a question coming in the chat about the player mic from Ben. He was asking, does the player mic have a single flex point? And yeah, let's take a look at that in a little bit of detail. As Jen was talking about, the player mic is available in both the short and the long version. The main difference being that the battery in the long version lasts longer. Yeah, so this player mic here does have a single flex point kind of in the middle, if you will. And one half of it is the battery. I believe it's the lower half. And then the upper half would be the PCB assembly or the circuit board. And it's like rubberized. It's like kind of that, I don't know, like I hesitate to say like truck bed liner, but it kind of has that feel to it. It's like a little bit flexible, but you can't pop it open in any way. It's like it's glued shut. And as we were talking about earlier, the main idea is why this is so popular is that it does flex when you land on it. So if somebody takes a hard hit in a sporting event or something, or falls on it, it's not going to hurt them. And this is really the only game in town. Keep in mind that if we made it super clear, but this is the digital version of this, and that there are analog versions historically out there. This is the only and first digital version, and only will work with Axient Digital, this model. So this will not work with any historical like UHFR or other analog receivers. But yeah, we see a lot of it in sporting events, from golf to football to rugby, NBA. They sew them in the jerseys and all that. It's pretty cool, and two great engineering teams combined forces to make this product, and now we have it available for those real small usage cases. Really cool.
All right, well, next time I go play rugby, I'm wearing one.
That would be amazing.
Yep. Well, that's great. Give it a second here. Sometimes the chat lags a little bit from the stream to see if we have any straggler questions come in. If not, we're about to wrap it up pretty soon.
Looks pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks well, that's fine. Everyone be safe with the little bit of wind that's coming, at least to our area. Not sure where everyone.
Yes, tomorrow especially. Yeah, it's coming through.
Yeah, High Output has an office in South Carolina. We're prepared there with everything above sea level. Here, we're just crossing our fingers.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Be prepared, you know.
In that kind of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, not easy. All right.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, please reach out to us directly or High Output. And thank you again, Jim, for hosting us and having us with the High Output Academy. Thanks, Jen, Jason, all the Shure team behind the scenes that made the technical aspect happen. We're really excited about this, and more to come, definitely. So be safe and be well.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Take care.